Vladimir Putin's quest for power is a central theme of a new book out this week that I highly recommend. I just can't tell you how great it is. I, of course, wrote the book with my co-author, Jim Bourne, my co-author of the brand new thriller, Putin's Gambit, my buddy Jim Bourne. The premise of the book is straightforward. A despotic Russian leader. Can I say despotic Russian leader when I refer to Vladimir Putin? I'm thinking about that anyway. That Russian leader decides to follow a historical roadmap to empire, to rebuild the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics in his image. His image is exact. It is one Vladimir Putin, and one James O. Bourne is here with us. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
It's finally here, a 2-year journey, and everybody seems to think that we did this in the last 3 months, and we knew how things would be working out, because it is very timely, we have to acknowledge.
We should mention that it was completed 2 years ago. We've been working on it for 3 years and had no idea that things would turn out the way that they have.
Well, you say you didn't know how they would work out? Your modesty is overwhelming.
How did we start it? We started saying, well, what if? And we looked at all the scenarios for the most entertaining thriller that we could write. And Putin just ended up being a naturally charismatic, interesting character to put in the book.
Yeah, and a practicing despot as well, who had a very specific idea. It's all fiction, so it's a thriller. So any relationship here between reality and Mr. Putin is just pure coincidence, isn't it?
Coincidence or luck, depending on how you look at it.
The idea that Putin, it's interesting. If you go back 2 years ago, a lot of people were starting to talk very favorably about Vladimir Putin in those days. And when we decided to make him, if you will, the villain of the piece, it was not the thing to do. And as a matter of fact, we can remember Mitt Romney and all the characters who said Russia is the greatest threat. They were sort of dismissed. But the truth is, Russia has been the preeminent threat. There's 1,700 nuclear warheads in the possession of the Russians, ready at his order to be launched against targets, whether they're strategic bombers or ICBMs. It is extraordinary to think of what destructive power is at his command.
It is, and he's made no secret of the fact that he's interested in resurrecting, so to speak, the Soviet Empire.
Right.
And one of the keys to that would be taking some of the Baltic states. And that's when we looked, I can remember looking at a map where we were trying to decide what would be his, and talking to some of your friends in the military, what would be one of his objectives, and Estonia was one of the ones that stuck out.
Yeah, Estonia was then, in 1940, it was the path to Leningrad. Right. Today it is, I guess you could say, the path to St. Petersburg, but for Russia it represents the bridge to all of Europe.
Correct.
And that appears to be the entire plan for Vladimir Putin.
Plus, I think he would like to get a hold of their electronic assets. They're the most wired republic in the East. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of Estonia. Yeah. There are a lot of elements of the country that would be beneficial, and clearly they don't think that NATO or the U.S. would they risk everything to defend this country.
You got to read the book to find out. Jim Bourne, thanks for being here. Good to see you, my friend. The book is Putin's Gambit, and we highly endorse it, right, John?
We do.
We do. It's available online in bookstores everywhere.